Hey guys, off the top rope here, off the Mike Sports Network. So I have been having a lot of conversations with AEW fans over the my on my social media, OT Mike Sports, off the Mike 28. If you want to follow me on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. I mean, at this point, I don't even know what the hell it's called because Elon may change it. Elon Musk may change it tomorrow because he's effectively the president of this country. But that's neither here nor there. So. Um, I have been pretty consistent that look, I think Revolution will be fine. The wrestling and the work rate of it will be fine for AEW. But that main event, man, is a bad idea and a bad situation waiting to happen. Um, and there could be a potential documentary coming over how this all gets laid out because I talked about it in my video comparing Revolution to WrestleMania because a lot of, geeks and AEW incels are, using that as the grounds to say, oh man, this show's going to be way better than WrestleMania just because of the weird promo that The Rock had on Friday Night SmackDown this past week. So the main event of this show is for the World Heavyweight Championship between Jon Moxley and Adam Copeland, now known as Cope. We'll leave the nicknames and all this other bullshit out of it. So there is a lot of conversation within the AEW fan base about how bad, and in the wrestling community at large, about how bad this Death Rider storyline has been. It's literally been death. It's sucked the life out of whatever has been left in this company because they've diploed 600,000 viewers. They're getting regularly defeated by a developmental brand in NXT. Let's just call it what it is. That's not good. So you're in a situation now where this is the first pay-per-view of 2025. Don't let anybody believe you that this was supposed to be the first pay-per-view of 2025 was supposed to be Grand Slam Australia. And we know what a debacle that was. So this is the first, outside of Hobbs, and I almost forgot about this until just now. Will Hobbs actually had the first world title match, and I think the only world heavyweight title match of this year so far against Jon Moxley at that Maximum Carnage show in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago, or not about a month or so ago. I can't even remember when. It was earlier this year. So Jon Moxley is going to defend the title against Adam Copeland. Leave out the fact that it's Dean Ambrose versus Edge, basically. So it's a retread of a match that we saw in WWE. I'm sure we saw it at least. Actually, you know what? Here's the crazy thing. You know what? Maybe I'll give there's two ex-WWE guys, but I don't know if these two have actually ever faced off in a one-on-one situation. So you know what? I'll give AEW some credit there. That's not the point. The point is this is a bad idea because here are the options at hand here for AEW going into this match. And I always say, and you guys who have subscribed to this channel, who have followed me on social media, I always preach, you are only as good, a wrestling show is only as good as its main event and how they go off the air. If you go off the air, like AEW is the perfect example. If you guys remember Revolution back in 2021, that exploding barbed wire death match with the worst explosion known to man, that was the first moment where, oh God, AEW might actually be in the shitter here. They were able to salvage it for a while, but I think we might be heading towards a similar scenario here. Not as bad as that, but here's the situation that we have. Option one is Jon Moxley and the Death Riders retain, which to me at this point seems like the most likely and to me the most favorable, the best of a bunch of bad options, in my opinion, because I'll explain it further as to why. But to me, Jon Moxley retaining, as bad as that sounds, to me is the best of a worst case of options. Option two is Adam Copeland becomes the world heavyweight champion in his 50s. And you guys know I love and adore Adam Copeland. I love and adore Edge, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I love him to death. He is one of my favorite people. I love that he is still working. All due respect to him. Adam Copeland should not be the world heavyweight champion of a major promotion in 2025. That ship sailed when he was in WWE. There was a chance to do it with him at WrestleMania 37, which was 4 years ago now. when Roman pinned him and Daniel Bryan in the same match, which was effectively one of Bryan Danielson's last matches in WWE. That was the time to give Edge the World Heavyweight Championship after he had won the Royal Rumble. That ship has sailed. Adam Copeland, Edge should not be. You should not have a 50-year-old being the World Heavyweight Champion of your promotion. And I don't count Chris Jericho, but Chris Jericho's the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, which is stupid. You shouldn't be having 50-year-old men being the face of your company effectively. That should not be what this is. And then there's option 3, which to me, this may surprise you because I love Christian. The third option is the worst of all 3. And that is, presumably Adam Copeland wins the World Heavyweight Championship, and then Christian, with that contract, which is effectively the knockoff version of the Money in the Bank briefcase, Christian comes in, wins the World Heavyweight title. He's a world champion. Great. I think Christian's one of the most underappreciated wrestlers of modern time. His act is worn thin. The patriarchy thing sucks. It's really gotten annoying. It's kind of been borderline dull. Him coming in and, resuming his whole feud with Adam Copeland, his best friend, to get over the World Heavyweight title, and then you'd have 2 50-year-old men fighting over that just because you want to end the Death Rider storyline, that is a stupid idea. So where we're at here, 3 really shitty options, and I can't believe that I'm saying this. Jon Moxley should retain the World Heavyweight Championship at Revolution in a couple of weeks here in Los Angeles. And I can't even believe that I'm stomaching that because this Death Rider storyline sucks. So bad. Sucks. But to me, there is only one man in AEW that can save, and I don't even know if he can save it, and that is Hangman Adam Page. He should have been the World Heavyweight Champion. He should have been the one to beat Bryan Danielson. Hell, all due respect to Bryan Danielson, that World Heavyweight title win that he had at All In London last year did nothing for AEW. Did nothing but create a moment, which in some level, that's what wrestling is about. But the payoff to it was nothing. It gave us the Death Riders. So Hangman Adam Page beating Swerve Strickland at Wembley was the way to go. We might be getting, babyface conflicted Hangman because Hangman Adam Page is maybe not just he's easily one of the best performers in AEW, but he is also one of the best performers in the entire world. And if you want to argue with me, WWE fans, if you want to argue with me about that, Hangman Adam Page is as good as there is because of the levels and the abilities that he has been able to evolve his character in the last 2 years is nothing short of remarkable. To me, he is the one that needs to end the Death Riders. And it should have happened sooner. And the fact that we're doing this Copeland stuff now is a problem. But that's where we are. And I'll be honest with you, I am much more looking forward to MJF and Hangman. And hell, I would honestly main event with that. But we know that that's not happening because that's not for a championship. It's just a straight singles match. It's ridiculous that, you don't have those 2 guys fighting over the world title. And we've got Jon Moxley at his absolute worst with the Death Riders going up against a 50-year-old Adam Copeland coming off of injury. Granted, he's performing really well, but I have this thing where, hey, I don't want 50-year-old men holding world championships. And some people will come at me and say, well, WWE is gearing up John Cena to, win the world title. Guys, John Cena's retiring. John Cena's not even 50 yet. He's close, but he's not even 50 yet. John Cena is maybe the greatest star wrestling has seen in the last 25 years. He has earned this. And I'm not saying Adam Copeland hasn't earned this. It's just given the nature of how bad the Death Rider storyline is, I don't think Adam Copeland should be the World Heavyweight Champion. He shouldn't be the one to end the Death Riders. And then extending that, if we go that route, then there's also the likelihood that Christian is involved in some capacity. And for God's sakes, I love those 2 guys more than anything. One of the greatest tag teams ever. They should not be at the top of a major promotion in 2025. They're both in their 50s. Granted, they are performing at a high level in their 50s, but that's not building for the future. That is living in the past. That is not, and that is exactly what is wrong with AEW right now. Is they are living so much in the past. They are not about building future stars. You have maybe the best star, two of the best stars in your own company. Granted, one of them, MJF, is kind of checked out. But Hangman Adam Page, since he lost the world title to CM Punk, which admittedly is where the whole thing downfalled, as much as I love CM Punk should have never won the world heavyweight title in 2022. That was the downfall of AEW. And Hangman he's not even really sniffed the world heavyweight title since then, or had a realistic chance to win the world championship since that point. And we are now, almost 3 years since that? That is absurd. This should be Hangman in this spot. And the fact that we're even having this discussion right now as to, what could potentially happen at Revolution is absurd to me. It's stupid. Like, what are we talking about? And then I got people in my mentions on social media basically telling me, well, these all aren't that bad of options. I was like, yeah, these are all shitty options. You've got talented people in your promotion. You could just be better and book better television. Like, the wrestling is fine. But you mean to tell me that the three best options that you have in your World Heavyweight Championship picture are, number one, Jon Moxley at his lowest form in the worst main event program in modern professional wrestling in a long time. Edge, Adam Copeland, who hasn't won a World Heavyweight Championship in almost 15 years. Granted, he was away from the game for 7, 8, 9 years. Him at 50. That's going to be your World Heavyweight Champion. Or Christian, who, by the way, he hasn't held the World Heavyweight Championship in a decade. Granted, he was out for a while, too. What are we talking about here, guys? What are we talking about? This is everything that we hated Vince McMahon for. Bad television, older guys getting pushed in the World Championship picture, and bad payoffs, and younger and more talented and more deserving people being pushed further and further down the card. Nobody's getting over. What did we complain about so many times during the Cena days and when they had to constantly keep bringing Brock Lesnar in? They were pushing the wrong people. That's exactly what AEW is doing right now. And when this is your situation for the main event of your first pay-per-view of 2025, that is a problem. So, and if you want to argue with me until you're blue in the face about that, that's fine. It means you're probably getting paid off by Tony Khan, or you're just, you're just a sucker for this bullshit. But I don't think that this is a great situation. It is a no-win situation at Revolution in the main event. They have completely mishandled this to so many different degrees, and to have the three options that I've listed throughout this video be your best options, they can't win here. They can't. That's it for now. This edition of Off the Top Rope. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.